Meeting to order. First thing, recognitions.
Okay, our recognitions, we did not have any, obviously, in August, right when school started, but we are underway with September and our Patriot Pride Award that we do beginning in September. We have East Newton Ministerial Alliance, and we have a student, Ashley Hobson. And first of all, the East Newton Ministerial Alliance is represented by a gentleman right here on the front row. The Ministerial Alliance was nominated by the administration and some other faculty members because of what they have done for the district. One of the big things that they're noted for and that we always get excited about is our back to school feed that they do at the First Baptist Church each year. We have just loads and loads of food provided to the faculty, kind of a nice kickoff, and they do an outstanding job. A lot of the gentlemen are volunteers for the East Newton United, and we just want to appreciate what you guys mean to the district. We've had just numerous success stories that come out of the East Newton Ministerial Alliance, and if any of our administrators have anything that I have missed, would like to add, feel free to do so.
Absolutely, the Ministerial Alliance, they do a fantastic job, for the whole district. Like Mr. McCracken said, that's the one thing a lot of the teachers look forward to. The new teachers, they're just thoroughly impressed by the spread that you put out, and how good that is. And this year they gave out $25 gift cards to all the new teachers that were new, so they could have something to kind of use for the rooms or whatever else. And I know also they provide character building assemblies. They talk to the students, about different character traits and things like that. And they do them at the high school as well as the junior highs. So they take turns doing that as well, and I really appreciate the time and effort you invest in our schools.
We appreciate the opportunity.
It's an honor to do.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Don't leave.
Don't
We've got
leave.
it. Just stay seated, and we will get with you just in a few seconds.
Standing, Ashley.
Mr. Charlton, do you want to?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, if some of the teachers didn't get a gift card, we had 2 left over, and we thought our count was accurate. So if you hear of a new teacher that didn't get one, we have 2 cards left over.
Right.
Well, this is Miss Ashley Hobson. She is a senior at the high school. I have known Ashley for a long time, since she was here, because she's one of the final ones that I've had when I was a PE teacher, and that was a long time ago. So Ashley is, she's a great student and a great girl. She's a student council member, she's a member of DECA, she's a member of FCCLA. The program that was distributed to you all right here, while the content is very good, we're more interested in the cover because she's the one that designed the cover for the program, and that's the state cover right here for the CTE. And so she's the one that designed that. Also, I had to write some things down because you do a little too much and I can't remember. This past summer, she went to the Missouri Congress for Future Medical Leaders, and that was in Cambridge. Is that correct? Massachusetts?
Lowell.
Okay. Pardon?
Lowell, Massachusetts.
Lowell, Massachusetts. So, and she got to spend a lot of time there hearing different scientists, doctors, things like that. She got to witness, didn't you say, a surgery? She said she didn't pass out because 2 people did. So she was very proud of that. And Ashley's wanting to become a pharmacist. So, she's putting her knowledge and her skills to good use, and eventually she wants to own her own pharmacy. So I think that's a great ambition, and an ambition that not a lot of people her age have already put together and are wanting to pursue. So, fantastic student and fantastic girl, and we're very proud of her.
We have certificates and a little token of appreciation. So, Ministerial Alliance, if you guys would like to step up first, and we'll have Ms. Culp do the honors, and Tammy's going to do the honors of taking a picture.
Okay. That one.
Ministerial Alliance first.
Thank you, guys. Come on, get your pictures.
Still early.
Okay, you got-
Picture.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Andy, you can fight her so that make sure that it happen.
Thank you.
So now we need a motion to accept or approve or amend the agenda. We need a second.
Shoot, I'll be done.
Okay. All in favor? Rough arms on?
No.
So 5
Instead of throwing water.
Okay. We don't have any public comment? We need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes, bills, substitute teacher list, and tri-way reading log.
What does that mean?
I make a motion
We
to
do
accept
know.
this.
Hang on. Okay.
Any discussion about
Now,
the?
what is that? It's the books they're reading out of the
They're reading out.
library.
Reading out.
See, I was like reading, you know, I'm reading in my yard, you
I
know, like.
thought it was a reading log, but somebody had a list.
But I could.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
That was something real legal.
I do. Okay. Evaluation.
Okay. PDC program is here for evaluation. Mr. Geek. You ready? Sure.
My question would be if there's, sorry, I'll stand up so you guys can see me. Be if there's any questions about what was presented. You guys should have a printout of this year's evaluation.
Yeah.
It's got all the committee members on there, kind of what our focus and goals are for the year, some of the trainings or conferences that we would attend to help us incorporate those goals.
One other thing to add and noted on the evaluation that I wanted to add to that is on the second page of it, we're talking about the 1% foundation. You have to put in 1% of the district's budget to the PDC for any needs. And then now the district, the last 2 years of the district, you have to, it was delayed because of budget crunches, but now you have to spend 75% of that 1%. That's one of the things that we have to do. Like I said, 2 years ago, for 3 years, they stopped that because of budgetary concerns. So,
How much is 1%?
how much is 1%? About $63,000 or $64,000. And you have to spend 75% of that.
But we hadn't had to the last 3 years.
No, the last 2 years, this year, 1 year, and for 3 years, they put that 75% on hold because that money could be used for
No.
basically making ends meet, type of speak, yeah.
Did we spend about that anyway?
No, during those 3 years that we had the opportunity to not do that, we did not just, overly go above that. I mean, we were close, but it wasn't anything. I mean, it's a situation at the end of the year when the auditor comes in and he may note that, hey, you're really close to not spending that 75%, then what they'll do is they'll look for items during the course of the year that you could allocate, hey, PDC could have paid for that, and you can move that into that. You can make an adjustment for that. Questions?
And now we're back to the 75%. We
75%.
haven't to spend.
Yep.
And then where's the other 25% go? Into the budget?
If it's not used, then it's amended as far as not used, it would go into the budget as far, I mean, we don't use it, it just, to make a budget,
Budget dissolved in.
yeah.
That's one of those worst case scenarios.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
I saw on here somewhere, and I can't find it now, which is typical, but you guys surveyed the teachers to find out what they want to learn?
Yeah, here coming out in the next month, actually, we'll send out an email, ask teachers what are some topics that they would like to discuss. So that way it's more kind of a teacher-led PD. We're gonna have breakout sessions where they can get in groups and discuss their different topics and everything. If there's some that have gone to conferences, they can bring that information back and just speak about it, or introduce, some technology stuff maybe that some of the other teachers weren't aware of or didn't know how to incorporate into their classroom.
Of all the professional development classes or things that you've done, what would you say has been the most valuable?
Probably different per, I'd say different area of study. But the MoreNet conference, that's a big one that's coming up. We have a lot of teachers that go to that. They benefit a lot from that. They just, all their individual sessions, and it's not geared towards just any one area. So it's kind of open to all the areas where everybody can come benefit from it. But that's a big conference that a lot of teachers go to.
It's a technology conference.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you mean by this, it says program concerns right there? What is it? I don't understand the.
This would be, if I remember correctly, sorry. Yeah, those would just be, if there are concerns, how would we address them?
You're concerned that the staff is utilizing outside and inside professional development resources to their full extent. Is that a concern?
I probably should have worded that differently. We want the staff and encourage them to use professional development.
Are they-
Encourage them to
how
go
are
to
they
these
doing on that?
conferences.
Are you worried they're not using it? That's the
I'm
way it
worried that a
sounds.
lot of them are withheld from it, and
Withheld
whether, just maybe they don't know how to get involved with it, or they're just sketchy about what the conferences might hold. Some of them have never been to a conference before.
So what do you
And some don't want to.
We're trying to get
leave
the experience
because
of,
They want
yeah.
to teach, they want to
Yeah.
stay in their classroom and teach, and they hate leaving the kids.
yeah,
So,
like making
so
stuff
how do
plans and everything
we-
else.
how
But
do
we've
we fix
been
that?
bringing the experience of everybody else back and having them talk about it, and using the peer pressure, I guess, of the rest of the teachers to help influence everyone else.
It's kind of really hard to monitor something like that, or
Yeah,
the benefits to it isn't.
yeah.
Bobby, it's your turn.
I'm saving mine.
Okay.
That was good. That was a good reply.
Just
Oh,
wait.
Okay, you're done.
Everyone else is looking like, oh no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I need a motion and a second
So
to.
we're gonna,
Nope,
we
not
got
one
one
more.
more testing and evaluation program.
It's
Mr.
all
Scott John.
together.
That's read the one.
The testing evaluation program, we did receive the evaluation report as well as the list of the tests that we use in our district. You guys have any questions?
Yeah, Bobby, you.
Imagine that. Wait, we're gonna unleash her. You're ready. No, I'm just
Are
kidding.
you ready?
Let's go for it.
Let's
Well,
do it.
I don't know how many of you got to see the questions that I sent in.
Yeah, I saw this one.
Yeah,
Did you see the
Is
ones?
it John's or John?
John, just
John,
one.
just one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. He answered, and I appreciate that. I do have a question about the print tool that assesses handwriting skills. Is that, is for printing? It's not for?
Well, it's
cursive?
used when they do an occupational therapist evaluation to see how the kids are progressing and whether they're progressing and making their letters the way they should. You know, going from, you can see a difference between kindergarten as they go up and get older. It's more smooth and,
So it's printing,
yes.
okay. And do they take this every year?
No, it's just on an individual basis when there's concern with the child's functioning skills as far as fine motor.
Okay, that's a question that I have. Also, You said that you test for, I have to look at the right page, behavior and emotions under, there's so many pages to all of these
The
things.
VASC.
Yeah, the VASC.
Mhm.
And so I was wondering, so one of them was depression.
Mhm.
How would you see that in a first grader? I mean, how would you say, oh, this child is depressed?
Well, the company that developed the VASC is, they do a lot of research, so this is the second edition, and they've recently released a third edition, and so they go in and they revise all these questions to look for symptoms a child's going to display that would, indicate they might be depressed. This is not saying, it's not a clinical tool to say, these kids are depressed. It's like, okay, we need to look at this to see, okay, this might be something we need to look at,
So you're looking on a per instance basis,
Yes.
not as a general mask of if it displays this, this, this. It's-
Right.
Yeah.
It's, and they get paid a lot of money to do all the research. I wouldn't want to do it, but it's the individual items and the way they're worded and how they're answered is how they determine if that's going to be a concern for a child.
So if you had one that you were concerned about, what would be the process?
That's a part of the special education evaluation. I mean, it would be looked at as far as like when they meet initially to establish what tests are going to be given. That would be, well, if there's concerns emotionally or with behaviors, this would be one of the tools that would be used and then discussed at the end whenever we meet with the parents and the teachers. And then usually that, it's all in a report, and then if there is serious enough concern that the child's parents might want to take it to a doctor, they can take that report in. And so that information provides, good information to them to do what they need to do if they have concerns or do some further testing or whatever they can see fit.
The other questions that I have, and I'm going to hand this out to everyone so that everybody has a copy. Take one. About the statewide assessments for 2016-17. Do we have a new test this year?
As far as I know, of course, it's really early because we just got the test results last week. And so we haven't, if it's changing, we haven't been told. As far as I know, we're going to use the same platform as we did before.
So the SBAC?
No. As far as I know, it's not the SBAC at all. It's one that the kind of, I don't know the whole process of where the questions come from, but as far as I know, and my information tells me that it's not going to be the SBAC anymore. It wasn't since. The first year and only year was I think 2015.
Do we know, I just have a few questions about these tests, so I'll just ask them, and if you
Okay.
know, then you can sing out, okay? Who has created the test? Is it Missouri driven, or did we hire someone to create a test?
I think initially, right now, I think it just comes from a bank of questions that a company has put together. Because the Missouri Learning Standards aren't in place yet, and so they haven't been able to develop test questions to relate to those standards. So we're kind of doing a general test. So we're not, once we get the standards implemented and the test comes out that reflect those standards, then we won't be able to compare like the previous year results because the test won't be tested in the same standards because we're still testing on the old standards that we had before.
So, it sounds like it hasn't then been tested as to its validity or reliability.
That's what they're looking at now. I mean, they're not just going to give, create a test and give it to you. They're going to take a lot of research to develop the right questions. Like the other thing, the VASC. I mean, all these questions are not just created like, oh, this sounds good, let's do this, and this is the answers we're going to offer if it's multiple choice. It's very highly research driven, and so they're going to take examples from other tests and word it the same way, and look at the processes and the answers and all of that stuff.
Okay. Who is going to have access to the student data that comes out of that test?
Well, it'll be the State Department, Missouri, DESE, and then us at the district level, and pretty much that's all. And then I think they release some preliminary stuff to the public, but I'm not sure on all of that and how it's released.
Okay, so are we going to, like they had on the SBAC, are we going to have psychometric testing on our students, how they think?
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to look in the future because they haven't said. So I don't know what it's going to be like in the spring.
Okay. Are parents going to be able to see the test?
No, because that looks into that would invalidate the test.
Not before. Not before they take it.
Only when they release, if they release items. They usually will release a certain amount of items from the previous test, and I don't know when that is
Okay, so here's my
So
question.
who would it be released to?
Yeah, who is it gonna be released to?
Well,
Just
if
a
it-
few questions, but
I
we're
don't
not
know.
gonna be able to see what our kids are actually being tested on.
Not the full bank, no, it'd be a sample set of questions. And it'd be on the DESI website, I mean, you can access it, and anybody can access
You
it.
can access it right now.
Are you thinking more?
And it's very,
I
So-
wanna know, not just about the academics, that part.
right, but
is
that's all,
just-
that's mainly all the test is.
No,
but-
no, it isn't.
Right,
There's,
but,
there's
so-
psychometric testing on how your child thinks.
Not on the MAP test, is
There-
not currently.
There
They
has
were
been on
going
the
that
other
way.
tests, so that's
Right,
what I
and
don't
it
know
wasn't
how
last
they're-
year, I mean, because I've given the test for,
so the
So that's what I wanna
evaluation
know.
Yeah.
will be given,
it's all academic.
once that testing is handed down, and the evaluation is evaluated by who, given back saying that the child is, you know,
It just gives you
at
your
whatever
ELA score, it
level.
doesn't tell you.
So,
Yeah, there's a committee of people that determine where the level should be determined at, based on the scores of the students and what's expected of the students.
so it's predetermined prior to the test, they've got the levels, then it's assessed by the teacher then at that
Mhm.
level?
No, it's already, it's more or less preset. I mean, it's the complicated process now for the next 4 or 5 years because of the kind of the limbo we're in with our standards and the testing that's gonna be done. Just like this year's levels weren't determined until this last summer when they had the meeting to determine, okay, this is basic, below basic, proficient, and advanced, this is where we're gonna cut offs are. And so that was determined, I imagine, I don't know the process because I wasn't a part of it, but it would take, does with how many scores in certain levels.
So it's based on a point system and then handed down back to the teacher?
Well, the
Then it
teacher will
goes to
get the
district-
results.
For the district, and then it's handed out
Yeah,
through teacher and.
teachers can
And
view
the
it.
parents get the copy.
Yeah.
But the sample questions on the
Is that
DESI
kind of
website
what-
are very much like, exactly like the questions on the
Right,
test.
that's
But
what
you're
I'm
kinda
what I'm
wanting to
concerned
know
about.
where-
I wanna
who's
know about
evaluating
the
how it's
psychometric
going down.
testing. And if there's going to be data collected, then I feel like what's our responsibility as board members to make parents and students aware of what data is going to be collected and who's going to be allowed access to that data. That's
And who's
something I would like to
assessing it?
know about the testing.
Well, typically with the data, I mean, if someone's doing research on the data and if it's a process of how kids think, they're trying to figure out how to, raise the bar in order to get the kids to think on a higher level. And that will takes more complicated processes than just like 1 + 1 is 2. They want to, integrate, the different types of problems that the kid's going to encounter, like a word problem or something like that.
And
So
I
then-
think that's great. I
so
don't have
then-
any problem with that. But I do have concerns about our kids being tracked from the time they're young and that data stays
Mhm.
and people have access to it and how they think is in there. I feel like that is a personal thing and
Mhm.
according to the Fourth Amendment, you have a right to your person and your papers. Our kids should certainly have a right to their own brains
Yeah.
without someone else mining.
When when they're doing their research on this stuff, they're not gonna look at individual kids, they're gonna have numbers, that's all they're gonna have.
But then you look on a per individual basis as well.
For the district,
with that,
yes.
For the district, it's handed down to you, then you can assess on a per individual basis?
Well, we get reports for the individual because from the determined scores
Mhm.
that, that they'll send us. I mean, we don't calculate the scores, we don't, put the names and the numbers together. It's sent to us from, DESI with all of that information already on the report.
May I add something, and I may be totally incorrect on this, which I possibly could be. The first question is, Missouri had the new test, and I would fall back on any administrators that can assist me on this. But the SBAC test was given last year for the first time, correct? It will be given again this year because Missouri cannot come up with a new test with new standards that just was created. So the SBAC test will be given again, twice. Who created it? SBAC.
Pierce.
Validity and reliability goes back to that's what they're doing with the test. The who will have access to the data is correct with being the school district and the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. I did, and I think you'll be proud of me, I went to a DESI conference in the summer and was went to the session over data, thinking it was going to be something about how we protect our data and everything that was totally different. It was on the audit of data and all that. So I asked the gentleman from DESE, I said, I'm not concerned with my data, what we do. Actually, I am. I'm concerned with how we protect it, but I'm concerned with how you protect it. And I mentioned P20. And he told me that the only people that ask for data from DESE, like MAP scores and things like that, are research students, usually from the University of Missouri. He said, we have yet to receive any information from P20 requesting data aggregated, which is what they say, aggregated. They don't want to know individual scores. They want to know freshmen across the state scored this. So I said, okay, that's, and he came back to me on that, and that was the only thing that they have ever asked for. So that was just what I wanted to add as far as what I understood as far as that. So, which I thought that was interesting, because I did look at the P20 information, and to have them say that only research students, and DESE actually has a form that you have to request that is 1 or 2 pages that, they explicitly list out data that they want to see as far as research papers that the students are doing. So I thought that was interesting. So that's my soapbox, I guess, for a little bit of knowing a little bit about your questions.
And I am not trying to put you on the spot, okay? These are, you do what your part of the job is. My concerns are some of the things that are coming down from above where we are. I think everyone in our district tries very hard to protect our students. I'm concerned about others who may not be so altruistic that want to make money off of all of our students. Because every time they open a Chromebook, all that information is taken, everything that they're looking at. So I have concerns about that. So anyway, I just have concerns that as parents and as board members, whether there's more that we should do to let parents and students know what data is being collected on the test. If we can find that out, I would be really interested.
What is the solution for that? Bobby, what?
I don't know. I'm asking this. I'm here to
Well,
ask
we're fixing
questions.
to look at our map results. It'll show you the kind of data that we actually receive on it.
So, I'm not worried about the academic testing.
And that's really all we receive is the academic.
Academic
No,
aren't you?
right.
No, that's what
Right, I know that, and
It's
that's all
the
we receive
personal.
is the academic.
Additional information.
Yeah.
Yeah, the additional
Personal information,
information
how
and
it's
the way
handled,
they
right?
think. I don't think anybody has a right to know how anybody thinks.
Yeah, the SBAC was originally supposed to be computer adapted, where you would
Right.
get, if you got a test question wrong, then you would get a different type, and then
Right.
that would be the psychometric
Right.
part of it. But, like a lot of things that they want to do, and they weren't able to accomplish that on this test. And like I said, I don't think, this is just my opinion, is I think more people in the state of Missouri are thinking along the line the way you are, and I don't know that will happen with the new test that Missouri comes out with. That we'll have to create.
I don't think so.
Great.
So this is an evaluation program, so you're evaluating,
Yeah, he's just
I think there's enough people against
going
it.
over his
I
testing
don't
and
see
testing
it.
it. And the testing that the special education program does, and he does for his position as well.
That means, all the district testing.
Yeah, which was listed a lot of tests.
Yes, very extensive.
Well, I appreciate that. I just feel great concern for our kids.
Thank you.
Thank
You can sit down for a little bit and we'll get you right back up.
I won't walk for it then.
need a motion in a second to accept PDC evaluations and the testing evaluation program.
So,
Any further discussion? Go ahead. Any further discussion?
Well, you guys are gonna vote, and I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, as far as voting.
but it's just,
She's not voting.
We're doing
She's voting on this.
to accept
Just to
his
accept
evaluation.
You're accepting his
Just to
evaluation.
Accept your evaluation.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
that's,
that's
That's what
that's
we're-
what we're doing.
Okay.
Hurt his
Not that we're
feelings.
accepting the test
You
or
hurt his
not.
feelings.
Oh, sorry.
We
It was a
don't
great
accept-
program.
We didn't mean just your evaluation.
No, we're voting to accept the evaluation.
Okay.
After you
sing.
After you sing?
No, we'll accept it before.
Okay,
I'm with you.
first and second.
Okay, all in favor? 5-0. Now reports, the map data.
All right. Mr. John, let me start that.
Go right ahead.
All right.
It's pretty self-explanatory. I can't.
You just nod to me when you want it to click. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Lights off.
So this is the cumulative data that we put together, or I put together, in regards to the results, and it'll be across the whole map testing, including the high school. The blue is our district, and the yellow is the state proficiency level. This looks at just the percent of proficient advanced, and then the black line up above is where the state would like every district in this, well, where the state wants to be by the year 2020. And then the math levels. And we can't compare, I found out today that we can't compare these results to the previous results on the map because it's the two different tests. It's like apples to oranges comparison, so.
Our high school is always good.
It's one of the things that over the years, it doesn't matter what the test is,
Yeah.
we always do very well.
Is our high school now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that the 8th grade, that some of them take an algebra test and the rest take.
No, they can, if there's the option of a district, if there's algebra available in 8th grade, they can take the algebra 1 EOC. We haven't ever done that.
Oh, we
here.
haven't ever done it, okay.
It's always just a 8th grade math test.
I was told that was what we did, and so then you took what was left, and those kids weren't taking algebra, obviously weren't gonna score as good, so.
Well, then they say, because every graduate has to take 4 EOCs, it's government math, algebra 1, English 2,
And that's one of the
I've
options.
lost it. Biology. And so, if that would have happened, if that was the case in our district, then that student would have to take algebra 2 EOC to qualify to graduate
Okay.
with that EOC score. So it wouldn't carry over from their 8th grade year.
Should we give raises to people?
Ready for the next one?
Yes. And this looks at our free and reduced population, comparative.
Yeah.
Yeah, ELA there.
Ready?
There's our math. I mean, we're usually either right at or just a little bit below, sometimes above.
Our third grade was going under.
That's
A lot of it
why we
because
get the data.
yeah, a lot of it could be caused because that's the first time taking a test like
Yeah.
this.
Oh, that is
Ever.
the first year.
First year.
Yeah, so I mean they're I mean we try to get them prepared because they do some other interim assessments on the computer before, but you know
It's hard.
It's always
It's a very
different.
hard test.
But the,
You mean like hard to
but
train?
is the
No,
yellow
it's just a
line,
hard
the yellow line
test.
is what the rest of the state's doing? I mean,
yeah, that's a state. That's everybody, every district.
Yeah.
So some
It's all
of them
there.
are
I mean,
it's
doing much
like-
better
my
than
head's
us, and some
spinning.
are doing-
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard.
But
It's
again,
not
you're
2
looking
plus
at,
2 is 4.
you're looking at free and reduced,
Right.
free and reduced.
But
But it was before
yeah.
that too.
Yeah, right.
But I guess that'd be in the first year.
And this is our science. We only test 5th and 8th grade, and then the biology.
And that's all students, right? Okay.
Yeah, all students.
Free and reduced.
And here's our, well, it's the social studies, so the one we're giving in high school now is the government test. The only difference is that I put that, the black bar is the state, the top 10 by 20. So in comparison, kind of side by side where the state is and where we were at. And we're actually a little bit above where they want us by 2020.
No bonuses for getting there before 2020.
I don't guess.
be paid by the state.
Yeah, we get extra scores or something, you know, we can.
No cash
bank.
only.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about
We
the other
accept
day.
cash.
Oh, yeah, not incentives, yeah. And what, EOC, rent reduced?
Mm-hmm. Saved on the government, yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Financial report.
Okay, yeah. Click on the next slide. Financial report you received in the packet. I will tell you that, as you know, we have been doing the accounts receivable in the office with Tammy and I and Karen, and we have balance the last 2 months. Being out. So anyway, we'll go through the cash balances. Obviously, that was last month, so this is looking at August. Revenues that came in that were in Fund 1, in Fund 2, debt service, capital, and the revenue total right there. Fund 1 expenses, and again, you had low Fund 2 expenses in August because you're not talking about the September payroll for teachers coming in, so that'll be much bigger. And obviously, you know, the capital projects with the bond issue was a big expense, so that's what's shooting, obviously, the expenses up. So 1.7, 1.4, 255, 940, and then for an overall balance of 4.3 in all those funds. Taking a look at August, as far as state revenues, categorical payments, 702, and you got some local revenue coming in there at 802, and then our expenditures 1.9. So again, we're 1.1 in the hole, but that is obviously because we're spending our bond money, going to make a transfer on that. So that'll
So it's skewing
obviously, yeah, that'll skew that, and then what we'll wind up doing probably when we get all the projects completed, we will make a budget amendment, slide all of that, and show all of the bond expenses, get that put up there, and then we'll move on. Yeah, but right now, you got the total right there. So again, September, as noted, will be our principal and interest payment, and also is going to be our first big payroll payment for all of our staff. Put your Prop C and your classroom trust money all on the same screen to save slides here. 150 in July, 111, and I was just at a finance meeting today, and that was just exactly what they said. July looked really robust. Things looked good. August was a little bit of a downturn. Yeah, it shows. Same way with your classroom trust money as well. Again, that is gaming revenue money that they've set aside to show that the gaming revenue money of the formula, how much is going to districts. So for us, was 43 versus 53 last year versus 44 the time before. So a little bit about the finance picture. Clicking on next to the enrollments and our attendance, August, and again, this is for the very last day of August when we ended on August 31st. Take the attendance and take a look at their percentages and all that. 97, 97, and 94. Sorry, Mr. Charlton. It's always the case. 96 overall. Again, attendance is really well. You had 12 days of school in the month of August. Enrollments: 529 at Granby, 372, 439 at the high school, and 1,340. That is really, really close to the way we left off last year. So, you know, even though we would like enrollment to be back what it was 14-15, that'd be great, but we're staying steady about what we were last year and what we ended. So, questions about the finance or attendance and enrollment?
Do you know what that's gonna do to hurt us with we take that, go back now 3 years to our enrollment, it starts dropping off? What's that gonna do?
Yeah, what we are being paid on right now is the 14-15 school year, and so the 14-15 school year will knock off, and what we will possibly get paid on is last year or this year, or if we for some reason estimate ADA because we're getting a large enrollment next year at this time.
So potentially what you're looking at is you're looking at regular ADA about 70 students less. And so if you get 70 students less and the formula is $6,110, that's under $500,000 less in state payment based on what that. And as you know, you may not know, the veto session was yesterday, and the governor came out today and withheld, thought I had the figures here, I may still have, withheld millions of dollars from Department of Education today, so that, that will be, oh, yeah. He withheld 16.5 million from transportation, formula 6 million, and Prop C distribution 1.9 million. So, yeah, that's, yeah, it's that political game of fighting with the legislature on their vetoes. So we shall just have to wait and see.
So we could use $500,000 almost.
Just based on, yeah, based on that, yeah. In our thresholds, in this school year, but we're not getting funded on it, the thresholds change. So if we were increasing in enrollment, and for those thresholds, for example, like free reduced lunch students, if we were gaining enrollment, we could gain some ADA based on that numbers, but our enrollment is the same as it was last year, so we can't estimate, you know.
Right.
So that wouldn't do us any good.
Okay.
Thank you, good question.
Okay, next, that's all the reports, right? Old business, none.
Yep. Yep.
Like right now.
Did I? Messed that up.
You just didn't delete that part.
That's okay. Motion is second to accept the recommended changes to the MSBA policies, the GCBBA and GBBA as presented. It's the sick leave policy.
Correct. Sick leave policy that we've talked about for the last couple months, and like I said, I believe I sent everyone a copy of the new policy.
I need a motion in a second.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now let's discuss it.
Yeah. Like I said, I sent that in the email of what the tab had suggested and agreed on, and kind of that was a discussion that we had the last time. Is tab would sit down and make those recommendations. I don't know that anyone from tab is here to present. Was anybody going to do that? I know Miss Link's back there, but
Miss
she's
Link's
looking
got a
like
deer in the
she's about-
headlight loader.
I can do that, yeah. But the suggestion that they made is on the bottom of page 3. Probationary teachers leaving the district will be reimbursed for accumulated sick leave at a rate of $20 per day. Probationary teachers who submit resignations prior to the January board meeting, giving the district an early notice, will receive a $100 incentive there for getting the information early. And then probationary teachers who are resigning and using less than 5 sick days after resignation would also receive an additional $100 incentive. So what they're doing is, at the moment that they were to submit their resignation, we would note here in central office that, you know, teacher A has 45 days of sick leave. And if they use 42, or if they use just, you know, 3, then obviously they would get that extra $100 for, again, the incentive there is to not use the sick days. We would like teachers in the classroom.
So what's a probationary teacher?
Non-tenured. Okay. Yeah, non-tenured teacher. And then we went back, and the only adjustment to the tenured teachers, which we had written in before, and I believe everyone was agreement for, is if, you know, you resigned and you gave notice and you were a tenured teacher and you were going to retire, then you would be, if you let the district know in the January meeting, you'd be 80% of the current subpay. Then the February meeting would be 70% of the subpay, and then it was 50% of subpay if it was after that, and that was changed to 60% of current subpay. So current subpay is $85, and I don't have the figures off the top of my head what each one of those percentages would be, but those were the recommended changes. And Ms. Sherwood was here, and Ms. McGill was here, and Mr. Robin was here. Yeah. And we have some members of the staff.
That were at the meeting.
At the meeting.
Because that's why I requested a member of TAB to be
Yeah.
here at this meeting for
Yeah,
it, because
right.
I wanted to make sure we were
Yeah.
all on
Well,
the
you
same
kind of do,
page.
you kind of do with these guys right here.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
that's school board, so I wanted
Yeah, yeah.
each section to verify that we were all right
Yeah.
before it went further.
So that was a recommendation.
So you were there.
I
You were
was
at this
there.
meeting.
And that's what you
So
discussed.
that's what you discussed, I mean, I want it on video and everyone to hear. That was you guys understood that the
Agreed
same
to it,
way?
not necessarily.
You guys understood that the same way as what these
board
guys
members
understood
understood
it, as what he understood it?
I
We're all
did-
on the same page?
I did not hear every word he said, but what I heard is what we discussed and agreed
Okay.
to.
Okay, as far as what he said now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
what
want
I-
verification.
It's more importantly, it's what's in policy.
Right.
Maybe not what I said, but that's
Right,
what's written.
but that's exactly
Yeah.
what everyone
Yeah.
understood.
And then the short-term leave for the classified staff, I think we printed everything off, but you had received that, but I don't know that it stayed exactly the same as what was recommended is that employee who has worked here 6 years or more and leave before retirement will be compensated for the unused sick days at $20 a day, but if they retire, then they will get the 35. So that stayed exactly the same as presented a month or two ago. So
How come we didn't raise that?
that was not part of the discussion. The discussion was that was what they wanted to do. It has been raised. It was 35.
Yeah, it had been
Instead of
20, so now it's
instead of
35.
20,
Right now it's
$15,
35.
yeah.
But we raised that last night when we were
Yeah.
talking. Yeah.
That was part of what
Right.
he had proposed
Yeah.
already.
Right, the initial proposal prior to going
Mhm.
back with
Yeah.
TAB.
And TAB brought us proposals. It wasn't exactly what we came up with, but we compromised to come up with this.
But everyone is in agreement, including TAB.
Right,
That's- Yeah,
right.
that's what.
But I
It
don't
was a
want it to
very
be,
good meeting.
yes.
Yeah.
It was a very good meeting. Everybody participated and made suggestions.
And we agreed to look at it again in a year if we can, or 2
Yeah, that was one of the things that we all agreed on was because we
We don't know
brought
what
up
the
of
cost.
what the cost
Right.
might
We
be,
don't
and maybe
know what it
something that we can't afford, and we
Cost
would have to evaluate, so that was good.
Yeah,
Good
because
decision.
it's much money though.
Right, yeah. We thought that, looking at it, it might be a situation where you would save on, you might take a hit by paying out sick leave,
But
but
you'd
then
save
you
on
may
paying-
save on substitute teachers,
Right.
so.
Right, and the kids would win.
yeah,
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, good.
Now, ready for vote? All in favor? 5-0. Second reading, policy ADF and procedure ADF-AP1.
Does anybody have any questions on that? I sent you out the edits that had the reasons for the edits. I guess shortly after, I think, our last board meeting when we talked about it. Just to make a note too, is what I wanted to put down is I was attending a meeting on Friday, and we had a MSBA attorney there, and that was one of the things that she kind of reiterated with board policies all over the state that they do is just, obviously, you always want to make sure that your policy covers what you're doing, because you get in conflict when you have issues where policy doesn't meet what you're doing. So I think this is a prime example of, for example, the air quality. We don't have anybody doing that. And she also reiterated that these policies are policies for 507 school districts, from 25,000 students to K-8 school districts. So they are meant to be, modified as per what fits the district within the legal bounds. So questions on any one of those, the AP1 or the ADF?
I just have a question on the wellness committee part.
Mhm.
It says a member of the public. Do we have a designated member of the public on that
We
committee?
don't, once it would be approved, and there would probably, what has happened in the past, I'm just going on past history, is that those folks that would head that up, which could be me or the nurse, would then go out and say, okay, we need to have somebody. Honestly, what happens sometimes is we have teachers that are also parents, and so a teacher will be the parent and not the teacher. But to answer your question, we would have to sit down and, I guess, ask someone and see how many people turned us down or who accepted it. So, yeah.
I just, since I know I'm that committee, I don't wanna miss the meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Any other questions?
Any other questions on? There's no motion on that one.
Yeah, it's no action on that one.
Next item is the MSBA membership. Need a motion and a second to accept the maintenance agreement. Let's have discussion on it. Just an overview, what is the full maintenance service agreement?
What I can tell you, without just verbally, rereading that right there, is we are a member of the MSBA, Missouri School Board Association, and they supply us with board policy, and then they also, with that agreement, they maintain and keep us basically legal with all the state statutes that's changing, all the legislation, all the legal issues that's been taken before the court. So that's one of the things that they do, and they also provide the service as far as free attorney calls. Like if I'll have an issue, and I'll quickly call the MSBA attorneys, which costs nothing for them to answer some policy questions. The other thing too is they also provide us, if you have a website, you are required to have board policy on your sites, and so we do that through the e-board solutions that they provide. So that's some of the policies that, and of course, obviously they try to keep us up to date. And your little disc that you have in front of you are the updates that will go on. So that's what they do. They keep us in line with current legislation. Yeah.
And what does that cost us? $3,000.
You had asked a question last year, and I hope I'm impressing you, because I asked a question at the conference about data. And
way to go. You got two,
Okay.
3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. Last year you had asked something about MCE. MCE is the other people that provide policies, and so I sent them an email last year. I couldn't find it, so I did it again this afternoon. Their charge is $1,500 for just customized annual. So basically those updates that you do. They do a sliding scale based on your student population, which they did not give me a figure on that. So maybe that's $50 a student, $20. I don't know what that is. The other thing is, which is really the thing I think is probably the most complicated to do, painful probably, is a full review of the existing board policies. So we'd take our board policies, they would review them, but actually it would come down to the board reviewing every one of those policies and going through that and making sure. I thought it would just be simple as they'll just take MSBA policies and just turn them into theirs, but they can do that, but you have to go through each one of those and approve what they would be. Again, you'd have the attorneys. You'd still have access to the attorneys, but it would be their attorney, Tom Mickus, and his group with that. And their policies are numbered versus our policies are all the letters. So you can actually go on, and you probably know MCE, Missouri Consultants for Education. You can go on their website and pull off their sample policies. They're really bland until you get to an individual school district and look at their actual individual wording. So, and I'm not sure. I do believe, I think Marionville might be, Dr. Brown, I think Marionville might be a school district that uses MC, that you might be able to go on their website and compare an EastNewton policy to an MCE policy. So.
Sounds like a lot of late nights.
How would they compare to keeping up with legislature, like NSBA is.
Matter of fact, the meeting I was at today, he was a speaker, and he just said the same thing. He said, you should have got your updates last week. They do the same thing. They send out the updates after they kind of go through the legislative session and find out what all has changed. And then their attorneys write policy and change and amend the policies and then send those out for the boards to adopt. So
What is our fee based on for this? How is
same,
it same?
it's kind of the same thing. It's based on student population and just a set fee for just your general maintenance, and then they do a scale for that. So
And you don't know what that is either.
I don't know what the scale is. I probably could find out, but I don't know offhand. I do not know.
So basically, this is your recommendation, and we have no reason to be dissatisfied with these guys at this point, is what you're saying?
No. The only thing, we're probably a little late on updates, but that's no fault of MC. Just sent theirs out, and
Right, they both.
yeah, 'cause last year we didn't get, we went about almost a whole year to get updates, and we got them late this year, so that's just not a big issue. Yeah, my recommendation would be to continue with MSBA membership agreement.
I guess I agree, because we
Yeah.
haven't had an issue with them, so we,
And
that's
they-
why reinvent the wheel.
And the other thing that they do, and again, we need to move on, we've got people here, but they will provide training for us. I mean, if we ever have any issues or anything like that, they can come down and provide training.
And no additional cost?
Well, I don't know about that, but they do have that as far as, I'm sure there would be.
Yeah, it's kind of like
But
that
not
free legal
free.
fee that we're
Yes.
serving them.
Yes.
Exactly, so.
Free legal
Yeah.
advice.
All in favor? 5-0. Now we're to the fun part.
Yes.
Thank you for checking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just impressed you remembered. That was the deal. Did you write it down, or that's pretty impressive? Show off. You did it well, though.
Yeah.
You did it well.
Jared.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sorting things out.
Hey, I'm Mrs. Burt. I'm the one clear back here. Sorry that you can't see me very well. These are the Patriot Singers, and they are going to be performing Hey Brother for you tonight. We have a quartet singing. Jared Shoemaker, raise your hand, Jared, so they can see you. We have Dylan Burt, Jesse McGuirk, and Bailey Coker.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Hey, sister, though the water's sweet, but blood is thicker. Oh, if the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Hey, brother, do you still believe in one another? Hey, sister, do you still believe in love? I wonder. Oh, if the sky comes falling down
perform for you guys tonight because we wanted to ask for permission to go to Orlando to compete this March.
How many days? What's the trip length?
They have
Okay.
go. It's from March 15th to the 20th. We'll leave school on the evening of the 14th. We'll only miss the 15th and half a day on the 16th because we only have a half day on the 16th and we don't have school on the 17th or the 20th. So we would only be missing a day and a half.
So if any snow days or
What's
anything
snow
like that,
days?
you do not want me to put school on those days for makeup,
I'm
right?
sure they wouldn't.
Go right ahead. And so you're looking at flying or
Taking the charter bus back.
charter bus?
Taking a charter bus.
Oh, good grief.
Will be more cost effective.
What are you looking at? How much do you need to raise?
It's approximately about $1,200 per student.
Oh, that changed today, remember? Did you write it down?
The new
Oh,
cost is
$1,100 per
Oh,
student.
gotcha.
And so what kind of competition? What is it?
Is it, what,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What kind of competition?
Well, we have a couple different options. Orlando Fest, which is at Universal Studios, or Disney has a choir festival going on the same day.
Oh, wow. Is there a difference in price?
There is not a difference
Really?
in price. They both are a $100 entrance fee. That's it.
Per student or just?
No.
That's
per
just
group.
it? Just
Per group.
$100?
And then, of course, we have to pay to get into their
Well,
car.
yeah, of course. Oh, they don't give you a break on that?
Well, that's all included in our price to go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so we get a group rate to get in.
And how many board members get to go with you?
As many as you would like. The cost is $1,100.
1,100 each.
I
round,
like
right?
Disney. I love Disney.
So is there a choice, which choice are you looking at?
Right now, probably Orlando Fest, just because we've done that one before.
That's the universal one?
Mm-hmm.
That might make a difference whether we go or not.
There you go.
That's-
Universal has Hogwarts.
I know, right?
Supervision as far as, do you know?
They know.
All right.
They know. These
Sorry,
are
I
good
asked the wrong
questions. No,
person.
these are good questions.
We have a 7-to-1 adult to student ratio, so.
What was the student ratio?
7-to-1.
Well, there you go.
Have you reached that 7-to-1 yet? You have parents volunteering?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many buses would it be?
Just one.
Just one bus?
Well, after a performance like that, I can't say no.
No, that's great. Yeah. More opportunities the better.
Somebody turned the bass on.
Great.
Number of students attending, do we have, are we all here?
No, we have more. Guys, go ahead. You're
All
You
right,
have
we
another
have
paper?
27 singers and 7 band members that will be attending.
Yep, plus 5 adults. Plus the 5 adults.
And what are you doing to raise all the money?
Good question. It's on your paper.
We will have dinner shows, bake sales, car washes, and more. So.
To be determined.
Until we reach that money.
Yeah.
Which recently we did a pancake breakfast and a car wash to raise money for costumes this year, so hopefully we could do something like that again. In the past, we've done dinner shows, Indigo show, and those have seemed to raise a lot of money. So.
Alrighty.
Sounds good to me.
You want to get a motion?
Do we have the motion?
Need a motion, second?
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor? Five
Thank
up.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, very good.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
That was worth it. Spring fire. Well, I started out playing the piano. I only got in because of the piano.
Band members, can you help you take?
I actually used to choreograph it. Very nice, very nice. Thank you guys. I always love watching them. And there's big competitions they go to with all those.
after that.
Yeah, but was that over the song? I thought surely not, she said she was crying. No, but surely it was because there's something else going on.
No, it's,
I do too, but she has to have heard it a million times.
Yeah, but sometimes that makes me more.
Does it?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Depends on what it is.
But when you're a teenager, you get a big one or two.
I have the first, I don't have a second.
Second?
does that mean you're?
No.
No. This means it's
That means
open.
now we discuss it.
That means now you can talk. Okay.
That just makes sense.
I'm being told to hurry.
I know, I was gonna say.
How am I gonna compete after that? How proud mom.
Are you gonna sing and dance?
Kids.
Wait,
we
we
should
have
have
an education.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make this really very quick. This is the third year in a row that DESE has made some changes to our compliance plan. And it really is, all of it's like clarifying intent of rules or available funding. The only thing that does affect us is the early childhood piece where they will no longer do construction or buy buses. I'm glad that Jason and I'm glad we bought a bus 2 years ago because that's no longer. And the reason is just early childhood special education is costing so much that they've cut capital outlay. The two things that I have to talk about really very quickly is one, I would still like to be able to use young child with developmental delay as a eligibility for early childhood. We have to discuss this every time for whatever reason. And two, we do use the National Instructional Materials Access Center for our kids with vision problems. So besides that, I would like to propose we can either adopt it as written, rewrite it, or make changes. And I would like to adopt it as written, if you guys would allow that. And I have to send it in saying that you guys agree to that. Do you have any questions?
I already sent my questions
No?
in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't very many changes this time. All right, and then I think that there's a paper to sign eventually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? 5-0. Need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? 5-0. Good job.
One last thing is your CDs,
No, I have it.
and that's gonna be policy updates we'll start looking at next time.
So go ahead and take them out, that works.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot that they're all, some of them pertain to accounting procedures, nothing.
Yeah, I'll let my legislation, none of my legislation.
We do them all at once or
We're
split?
gonna do them all at once, just reading and then,
Take it to school.
they may be so, may as well do it too, because.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.